the Kings, or not the Kings, but fans have been talking about adding a third star and or maybe trying to trade or get one in free agency. But I don't know. How would you feel about that, John? Like, what would jump out of me is breaking this team's chemistry because it just seems like it's off the charts, and that's something you don't see too often. Haven't seen the team with this kind of chemistry in a long time. So, what are your thoughts on maybe adding that third guy? Does it need to happen?
Well, first of all, that's a great point, as I feel like you see a lot of people saying now, it's like, oh, look at the Kings. They're in third place still. Their odds for making the playoffs went from, I think Jason Anderson pointed out, like in January, it was like 35% chance of making the playoffs, according to 538. And now it's like 86%. And so a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I don't know why anybody would say Sacramento can't attract a star, can't get a star to come here. Like, who wouldn't want to come play with them? That's a good point. Like, of course, they're great. They're one of the more up and coming, exciting teams in the league. But first of all, what indication have you gotten from Monty McNair, the front office in general, that is a route that they want to go? And two, who the hell do you have in mind? Like, really, who fits? Like, who are you going to be able to sign? Because I don't think you're going to be able to trade for a star unless you're trading like Kevin Herter and Davion Mitchell and, I don't know. You probably have to throw Keegan Murray in there too, honestly. I'm just skipping around at that point. So they're not going to do that. Who are you going to sign? I don't know. Is the age going to match up with the age of this team? You bring up chemistry, which goes back to what indication have you gotten? The indication is exactly the opposite. I don't think that they want to do that. We had this conversation, I think, earlier in the month where it's like, you start talking about a third star for this team, you're just waiting on Keegan Murray to do that. I mean, at this
Mm-hmm.
point, it does not match up with the timeline whatsoever. And I get, again, why people would bring it up. It's one of those things that's enticing to talk about. You get a third star, it's hard. And at that point, you start really jumping into that championship kind of discourse. It's easy for a fan to be tempted into talking about that or kind of getting fixated on it. But, and of course, it's also at the same time by having that conversation, it's having a real conversation about the fact that the Kings are playing well, which is in itself good. But again, it's like, it just seems detached from reality at that point. There's really no indication. It's really just all based on speculation and whims, what people want. And so it's a sign of how far the Kings have come. Like, yeah, I don't disagree with the fact that like the Kings are now kind of that whole thing that the Kings or the Sacramento Kings are not an attractive destination. That's out the window. But just because that's the case does not mean they're going to just throw the whole. Again, it's about protecting the core, as Monty McNair said at his post-trade deadline press conference. He's not going to throw it all out the window to try to get a star that's going to put the chemistry they've built in peril and perhaps put his job in peril.
Yeah.
He's got his contract extension from being methodical and waiting for his pitch. He's not going to go swing outside the zone.
It'd be very Kings if he did, though.
Oh my God. It'd just be like the rubber band just snapping right back to reality,
Yeah, honestly. Unless like the stars align, like at least not this year. Because who are you going to trade for? I mean, who are you going to trade to get that star? I mean, McNair's not trading anyone that's going to be worth anything, right? Maybe Davion Mitchell. It's like the furthest I can see him going.
And how much pull does Davion Mitchell have, really?
Exactly. It's a great point. Not a lot. It's a Kings fan right there, just overhyping their players. Yeah, we could trade like Davion and
It's
this
this,
guy.
it's the same people that'd be like, Davion's like, I don't know, like his offense, I don't know if he's like really that great. And then they'll just be like, yeah, but we could trade Davion to get Pascal Siakam. I'm like, what
Yeah,
fucking universe, what planet are you on?
it's very
I
true.
feel silly even bringing that up because it's like at the end of the day, those are probably just like 12-year-olds on Twitter, which is fine. They sometimes have valid points, but I don't know.
It always kills me. Kills me every time. Like I don't know. It's like why? It's like when you see like the trade. Like, yeah, it's perfect. Like, why would the other team do this? Like, ever?
I know that's one of the most important parts of a trade is a mutual agreement, and they never start to think about what the other team might want or what their
Yeah.
plans are.
Yeah. Exactly. Um. Yeah, that third star, and then on top of that, for trading for someone, I mean, you've seen this. You've seen this free agent class. It's not that good. So